Okay, hi everybody. Good day, good evening. Here's Ruben's drum channel with a live video, and it's a special one today. I want to do something new, and it's always nice to do something new. So this is a live masterclass about a video I post on my YouTube channel, Ruben's drum channel. And I want to analyze that video with you, especially about Steve Gadd bass drum technique, hand technique. And I did some great editing. So this is how the video starts.
In drum corps.
So that's a nice intro about the famous coda, of course. And it's a combination of a couple of masterclasses and videos Steve Gadd did. Everything what you can find on YouTube about this technique. So it starts with the up close video.
I practice a lot of the rudiments with the other guys.
How about drum set?
Well, on drum set, let me show you some of the things I practice. There's some rudiments that I found that are real good for strengthening your hands. Mm-hmm. And I would practice those just to help loosen up and stuff like that. And radimecues that you end with a flam are good for your hands. Mm-hmm. It's like,
okay, so he starts to play radimecues. And of course there's this great book explaining this whole video, what was made in the 80s. So it starts with, of course, a very rudimental solo of this Crazy Army drum solo. And then here's some explanation about how he practiced rudiments and what rudiments he practiced. And in every masterclass and clinic he gave, he tells a little bit the same story, but he tells always different rudiments. So I think you have to practice them all. But this is a radimecue, and it's also the basic of one of his favorite fills. And when he started it off, you think, oh yeah, the tempo is okay. So what's important is that it has flams. This video called a drum lesson, the flam rudiments, because he practiced most of the time flam rudiments. Because with flams, you practice very much your endurance, because you get an extra bounce. So this one is the famous radimecue. So. And I don't know if it's officially with a flam. So it's very nice to analyze his left hand, as you can see. So he has his fulcrum here, and it's from the Bobby Thompson technique, the Bobby Thompson grip. It's a very rudimental grip of the, I think, the 50s or the 40s, and it is very famous for a traditional grip. So your thumb is on your I don't know how you call it in English, but this finger, and you can put it on the second or the first, and it's very important that it rests on this finger, or I can say the second finger, the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And on the fourth finger, you rest your you throw it a little bit sometimes in the air. Your pinky does nothing. making space. So this finger, it's very funny, but you really have to keep it away from the stick. You have also traditional drummers who really play like this, but the third finger is of no use and the fifth finger is of no use. And you pull them back. Why? Because then you really have to play with your wrist. So the technique of Mr. Gadd is really perfect. But what is very scary is that he go faster and faster.
They strengthen your wrist.
Yeah.
Flam Paradiddles alternated are good.
So they strengthened your wrist. No, that's true. So you do a lot of action with your wrist. But when you play it on a practice pad like this bounce so terribly. So I think you have the right speed, but it's evening here in Holland, so I cannot play the real snare for my neighbors. So the next one is a very famous one. It's the Flam Paradiddle. This is the Paradiddle. And this is also a sticking he used for one of his famous drum fills. It's also from the Paradiddle, but alternated. So you start on your strong hand, and then you go to your. But then you get. It's a very. So my hand sticking is really trying with the right hand. This finger is really loose. It's like the speed fuck. So your fulcrum is not here. A lot of people has the fulcrum here, but it's not here. It's here. So, and it's really a very loose. Your fourth finger is also for the control, and again the pinky and the first finger, the second finger are not doing very much. And you see that he does a lot like this to have the control. So this is the hardest one. We come with that one later because at one clinic I have him playing a Flam Paradiddle at an amazing speed. So this now we go to the Flam Paradiddle alternated. Check it out.
Can you see? Are you getting it good? Those are good.
Yeah, those are good.
Flam Accents are real good too.
Flam Accents?
To practice and try and work up speed.
So that's a triplet. Just a single-handed triplet with flams. And again we go to an amazing speed. This is really amazing.
I mean, they're just good for your wrist. You got a double beats and.
But again, I do it on the practice pad, not on the superphonic. He uses a superphonic here, and the tuning is really dry. So it's your wires of your snare are very tight, so you cannot use. You have to really, you hear every note so clear. So it's a very muddy. Your snare don't give you the rebounds very high pitched snare does. It's really a tough snare. You have to really make your sound yourself. So this is an up close, the only information.
And
oh yeah, I have a slow-mo. You see here his hands, see the hands movement. You see that he push and pull a little bit with his left hand. See the motion? It's incredible. It's incredible. You see the right hand, you see this finger, really controlling the stick. You see how loose the stick is floating in the left hand. Yeah. So beautiful, man. I get tears in my eyes. It's the most beautiful drum technique I ever saw. It's really art. See his left hand, man. What's happening there? And the use of the bounce. He makes so much sound.
There's one room
right.
called the Flam Accent.
So that's up close. So there's a little bit like also a little bit the push pull. I love to ask him that to explain his left hand technique. I don't know if he can do it, because with a lot of super drummers it's so automatically flowing. It's not, it's not the Dave Weckl technique or something. It's really the old-fashioned rudimental technique. So okay, so I found this on YouTube. A great seminar in Tokyo in 1984. So you can check that whole seminar out. It's on YouTube. And he explains here also things about technique. So this again, the Flam Accent.
It's a right flam. Now, another sticking, that rudiment is very hard to play fast. So another sticking for the same sound is right, left.
So this is a swish. Switch army. He still wins. This is the Swiss Army.
Same sound, but you can play it much faster.
So that's with a double in the beginning, so it's easier to play it fast, huh? Because you start with a double. Tony Williams played a lot of his Swiss Army. I think he's gonna explain that here also.
The alternate one is left, right.
So this is the Flam Accent.
Left, so it's flowing. It's like 必ずアクセントは右手で。
Oh yeah, that's a Japanese translator, of course. It's very funny to listen to this seminar. It takes a long time because everything has to be translated in Japanese. So this is the Swiss Army again. Okay. I think that helps a lot to become a very good drummer. I believe a lot in headroom. So what's for me one of the greatest things about Mr. Gadd is that he has an incredible technique, but he never really shows off his really exceptional technique. It's such a high speed, everything he can play. And for me, the best example is when he plays on that Zillion Day with Mr. Dave Weckl and Vinnie Colaiuta, who are both amazing drummers, but they really show off what their headroom is. You know, Vinnie Colaiuta plays that roll with, and Mr. Gadd, in my opinion, makes music there. So. There's an in the Up Close he plays a samba, and he plays really fast 60 notes with one hand. So if I can do that, in every drum solo I let people see see how fast I can. But I never see him do that in his drum solos because he just makes music, and that's why he's for me one of the greatest drummers on earth. So. The headroom is very important, so that's why I practice it. So because when I are able to play this faster, my control over my rhythm and over my playing is so much better because my headroom is higher. So headroom is like a knob on a mixer. So a mixer puts the knob here, but can go during the concert to there. So this is his maximum, but he keeps it here, because that's where it sounds the best. So your headroom is you are able to play really fast things, to play the simple things good. So you are able to play really fast things and study a lot of rudimental to play the simple boom, gak, boom, boom, gak, boom, gak, boom, boom, gak. But then you have more control over what you do, and you have a better feeling. So that's why it's for me important to practice your speed. Okay, so this is all the Swiss Army, and these are the Tony Williams things you can play with the Swiss Army.
Sounds the same as a Flam Paradiddle. Right, left.
Yeah, this is very important. So this is the Flam mill, or the Paradiddle, but you start at the double, or it's the third inversion. But then with a flam. Why? Again, it's the same as the Flam Accent and the Swish. That is easier to play fast than a normal paradiddle. But this is the hardest one because you play 3 strokes. So this is a very good one to practice for your endurance. But my maximum is very low. Sorry. And with that other one, and later on in this clip he has a great exercise with that one. So that's the flamed mill.
Paradiddles, but it's not.
No.
You can play them much faster.
Steve, can I explain how with a regular paradiddle, the left and right hands, they play 3 consecutive strokes at the same time, and that's why
The flam paradiddle.
with a flam paradiddle.
This is a good random cues with flams on the end.
Okay, this is the rhetoric cues again.
Taking a single random cue and ending with a flam. Alternated.
These are same as in Up Close.
But those are good exercises for your hands.
These are flams. This also. Ooh.
Very difficult to play, but those are good. And just alternate flams.
Alternate flams.
Practice.
This is happy, man. This is happy. Jesus. I have a lot to study. So that's incredible fast again. It sounds so easy.
Good exercises.
Well, I'm almost there. But on a practice pad. Ooh, I'm not there. Okay, this is another one. Here he goes to play Paradiddles in a Flam Paradiddles. Incredible. But
just play something different, right? And
yeah, the sound is not so good, but it's so happy that they put it on YouTube. Yeah, that's also a great exercise. So you play Flam Accent, but one hand plays on the rim on the other part of your drum set, so you get all other rhythms. Terrific exercise. To get it really tight, it's really hard. Yeah, that's really hard.
flams in a row is like it's a hard thing to get together. But once you get it
I'm so impressed by the flaps. Alternate flaps are these.
do that with one hand. It's awkward, but like when you get both hands doing it, one hand brings it out of the other. You know what I mean? It's like your right
Well, your right hand will help your right foot do stuff. You know, certain parts of the body like follow the other part. You know, and so like rather than to, it's like.
Yeah, when you play single flams, actually you play just fast 16 notes. That's what your hands are doing, but at another moment. So it's the same motion.
It's hard for me to do it without touching, without going like this, because with the left hand. So anyway, that technique came from the right hand bringing it out of the left hand. You know, it wasn't just working on one hand.
Yeah, the question you cannot hear.
Rudiments are good, you know, for strengthening your hands and stuff like that. There's
Oh, so this is the next one. So somewhere there was a Flam Paradiddle, but he plays it really on this tempo. So I'm not there. This is a very interesting one. It's a clinic at the Passig in 2005, and here you're gonna play the Flam Mill. But what is he going to do here with it? He's gonna invert it, so he plays it a 60 note before the beat, and he plays it a 60 note behind the beat. So first I thought he plays here a normal paradiddle, and I was really from wow, that's such a speed. But later on I saw that it was, when I saw the slow motion, he starts with the double. So what he's doing is that this one starts on the beat, so and then he goes to the left hand as a lead. So that is 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, and then he goes one after the beat. Then he plays one right note, and again he starts with the left hand. So it's the normal one. Oh. Ba, ba, ba. So that's the exercise, it's a great exercise. And what he also plays here, I think, but I'm not sure about it, is on an incredible speed, just a double paradiddle. With two flams on the single notes. So that's what he is explaining here.
that one rudiment that I just played was called a flatty fla. And it's like...
Oh yeah. Here, first he plays the patafla-fla. He calls it a little bit different. I know it as a patafla-fla. It's also in the Up Close book. So that's the single. And you flam the first and the last of a group of four. And that you repeat. So that's a hard one. And then he always plays a paradiddle, half a paradiddle, to go to your weak hand. So the pata fla fla, I know on the rudimental guide of the poster of Vic Firth, it's called the pata fla fla.
So, but there's Flam, Flam Accent.
Flam Accent, you hear it.
Flam Views.
Flamicus.
So different kinds.
So Flamicue is so then it's the second 60 note has an accent. It's very funky. But you can also leave the last note and you repeat the 4 notes. So he makes a really musical exercise of all the flams.
Of those, I think really can be fun on the drum because they groove and they're good for strengthening your hands. Now there's also alternate stickings, like I'll show you, like flam paradiddles are hard because you have to play.
Now it's the flam mill exercise.
3 or 4 beats on each.
Oh, this normal flam. You see that? It's nice.
Flam paradiddles, you have to play 4 beats on each.
Flam paradiddle.
Flam taps, you play 3.
Flam tap. It's double with flams.
Flam accent.
Flam accents. Triplet. Triplet thing, you know.
So those rudiments really work strengthening your hands. Now there's some alternate sticking that for flam paradiddles that are really nice. And what it is it starts with a flam tail.
Flam mill.
I'll play flam paradiddle. Now the alternate. Now the alternate one you can play a lot fast. What I was trying to do with that is to try and play it.
This is beautiful.
Instead of grooving.
Now it goes. Whoa. After the 60 note? Woo. Before. It's incredible. After? Before. And now we're gonna play with it. It grooves like hell, man. That's incredible.
You know, so you take the same sticking, you try to start it in different places in the bar.
As if it's nothing. This is what I can play.
it's just a nice
He also
way.
goes to, I heard it for the first time now actually, to the, so after the beat to the 8th note. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. No, that he starts with left there. Before. So that's very, very nice. Man, I love this exercise. I do it with my students also. I don't know if they love it. But for me, this is such a good exercise to to get your endurance going and your musicality. Actually, with my students, I only do Steve Gadd exercises because I think all that exercises are really great. But my students are a little bit fed up with me naming the name Steve Gadd.
I think it's a good way to practice the rudiments. And in a way, even though you're playing the same sticking, you're not really changing the sticking, you're just changing the part of the beat that you started to figure out.
So you don't change the sticking, but you change the part of the beat. And he does that with all his phrasings. He can play them on every part of the beat. So, and the next one, what's this? Oh yeah, there's also my famous slow motions, of course.
So you can play it comfortably and still know.
And you can see the
one.
technique, you know,
Play
the
those variations
analyze the hand technique.
and think in terms of like 4 or 8 bar phrases. So they're good exercises. They're not only good technical exercises, but they're good musical exercises in that you're thinking in terms of phrases. And, so I don't know if that's any of the stuff that I was doing, but those are the Flam rudiments.
Yeah, thank you. After the beat. On the beat. Before. 10, 2, go. What he does there, I want to check that out. Something with I think he plays also a paradiddle diddle at the same way. You should start with the doubles. No, right, 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 left. Something like that. So I have to deep into that one, but that's great. I always try to get this out because that's a little bit ridiculous. Sorry that I didn't do that. This is another one. So the basic of this all, I don't know if I have all the books here. No, the NERD book is in my living room, but you have here the William F. Ludwig Technic book. You have the NERD book. You have, of course, the Wilcoxon books. That is a very good way to practice this all, because I think Mr. Gadd did that a lot in his teens. When he started to practice the drums, it was only rudimental, and this kind of things are all in that kind of books. So oh yeah, that's Dutch. Oh yes. You know, I think it's very important, and I miss that with a lot of drum teaching and drummers, is, you know, when you play a piano or a bass or saxophone, it's very important how you make the instrument sound. And in with drumming, it's a lot of is going to just bang the drums and it sounds, you know. But you have to realize that you have to make the sound, and it's very maybe very abstract. But you see here that Mr. Gadd is really working on making sound. So that's what I see. Maybe you see something completely different. I think that's the truth. Oh, that's I had to do that earlier. Flam taps. Wow, man. It's beautiful, yeah. You can just listen to it.
The reason that I do rudiments with flams is because they work the hands a little bit harder than the other rudiments.
Flam Paradiddle.
So you're playing like 4 notes on each hand without really thinking of it, because it's part of the rudiment. Flam Paradiddles.
Okay, I think you know what he means with that exercise. Oh, it's written down here. Oh, this is swish.
This is the Swiss.
Oh, he called it the swish. Yeah, there are a lot of names for it, I think. So, well, this is very interesting. And now, let me see. I didn't prepare it, of course. That's me. I'm always a little bit like a jazz musician. No preparations at all. So I have to download it. Let me see if I can do that very fast, because I want to go to the Crazy Army solo. That's really nice to analyze that one. It's also nice for my students, because nowadays we have to teach at home. So I teach on the conservatory in Amsterdam and The Hague. So I have to do that now from this place. That's very nice. And so a lot of teachers are busy now with how to get it work on the internet. So that's very interesting that people really are thinking that way from. So there are gonna be a lot of YouTube channels, I think, out of this. A lot of drummers are thinking, wow, that's a nice way to get my message through. So let me see if I get this started. The Crazy Army solo, then I have to open it here. So I open it in QuickTime on my computer, and then with my OSB program, I think it's called OBS, I can put it at with 2 here. Here it comes, I think. Yes, there we are. Okay, yes. So on my screen I can here put my QuickTime on, and then you see what's happening.
Listening. 2, 3.
So this is the Crazy Army solo. It's written down in this book, transcribed. It's always one of his starters with clinics, and so he plays that for a lot of times. And what he does is, the Crazy Army is original rudimental solo, I think written down in the 40s or 50s, and there's on YouTube also really the rudimental guys who play the original Crazy Army. He has a little bit his own twist on it, because the Crazy Army is with a guy who plays the bass drum on accents, and he does that with his right feet, and he makes it really funky. And at the same solo with Mr. Wackel and Mr. Kalyuta, he started with this amazing version of Crazy Army, but he plays the dynamics so good. He starts really like here a little bit, really soft, but then he really goes intense, and then one step intense, more intense. It's incredible. But what he does is he plays almost the whole Crazy Army, and then from that on he gonna do an improvisational solo. So he plays here just a spontaneous solo. What's the purpose of solos is that they are spontaneous, so not written out in your head, but try to close your eyes and play what you hear. That's, I think, very important. And so he plays it once, just a solo, and it's written down, and now it's really a statement. On YouTube you have a lot of people who placed it as a drum cover. That's nice to do, but it's also nice to really get into the solo, from what did he mean to play it, and how did he come with the phrasings. And really the ending of the solo is really a jazz kind of, Max Roach kind of phrasing thing. And the first part is very technical. So what's so beautiful on this solo is that he starts with a 7-stroke. I have a whole lesson about 7 strokes on my YouTube channel. And it's really so tight, his 7-stroke. So you start on your left hand and you end on your right hand. And then you have the Flam Accent with a kind of double. So again, from the start, it's immediately a groove and a music. Very soft, with no accents, only the Flam Accent. And now the bass. And hear how high pitched this bass is. This is the second part of the Crazy Army, a little variation. Flam taps. So this is the second part. And it's not, he has that, but you can see that on my channel. I have a whole lesson about this bass drum tap dance technique. So that's another story, but let's focus on the hands. So that's a really funky flam tap kind, Flam Accent kind of thing. And that's very hard. So then, if you have the book, I'm in part C now. This, at the original Crazy Army, they do the accents on the beat. But Mr. Gadd plays it like a downbeat. But I'm always playing a flam here, but... Oh no. That's it. I now see that I'm always playing it wrong. That's the hard part. So it are a couple of phrasings. So a 7-stroke, and then that Flam Accent thing, Flam Paradiddle. Again the same phrasing, but at the other point in the measure. And then the flam. And then the flam. Part 2. The same. So that's really nice, and you see that he plays it really, that's very important. He plays a little bit like here, but your hands are close together to hit the sweet spot of your snare, filling up the gap. Yeah, man, it's incredible. So what you hear a lot with the bass drum thing is, why does he do it? I think it's also, he explains it in the close, you really want to have this movement happening, so your left hand and your right bass, there's an English word for it, I cannot, but to develop that this is one thing, not a flam, and that's very hard. So a lot of exercises here. So he's after the Crazy Army, he goes to the bass drum thing, but then you have to do the tap technique. 9 stroke. And that's a very hard part because you play a 5 and a 7, but the accent is on the first beat, not on the last. And then you go to filling up the gap. So what is filling up the gap? You have a main accent part. 1, so 1, 1 E and a 2 E and a. Yeah, it's written down here in halftime. I never understand why he did that, the transcriber. So you have accent notes and you fill it up with doubles. So that's a great exercise. That's 2 measures, 2 bars, 2 lines is enough for a year practice. And then to play that with your bass drum, all the left hand accents with your bass drum, it's incredible. And then he goes to a little bit more jazz kind thing. But it's hard because you play the double on the last 60 note of the measure. That's so hard to do. And then he makes a mistake, and it's written out of mistake. There are no mistakes, but That bass drum is very important. Now it comes to the macro solo. This is this music. 50 ways. Yeah.
What would you say?
Then there's the only thing you can do is silence. Yeah, man. So he plays there the famous six-stroke roll. It's the original six-stroke roll is like a 10-stroke, I think. And then this is the triplet more. So it's a right, left, left, and a right, right, left. And then he revoiced it with that two right hands became right feet. So this phrase he plays a lot. And sometimes he makes it even smaller than he plays in Roof Garden in the solos. It's a great
gained out of working in the drum.
Well, this was a little bit analysis of this video. I hope it helped you to understand it maybe a little bit more and to get out and practice and get inspired. I think I'm going to do this more with drum solos online, so maybe you can leave in your comment what you want to see analyzed and transcribed. And there was a comment of somebody, a very nice comment, who likes the lessons very much, but he really wanted me to play Steve Gadd grooves and Steve Gadd solos. And actually, I'm not so into copy a solo and really play it. I'm more into how he gets to the ideas of the solo and practice that. I never can. I try to play this solo in one time, and the other there's this solo in this book. But I'm always forgetting. I cannot memorize it, so I play phrases out of it. But for me to explain it and to understand the ideas and where they come from, it's for me, better to do and more my thing. But maybe it's a challenge. So I hope I see you next time. So this was Ruben's Analysis masterclass of Mr. Steve Gadd. Bye bye.